Hi, I'm Lindsay.
I'm Katie.
I'm Megan.
I'm Amanda.
The region we're focusing on is the Pacific. This area has four parks from just off the coast of Southern California to just slightly east of Australia, below the equator. They are Channel Islands National Park, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Haleakala National Park, and the National Park of American Samoa.
The Channel Islands National Park is 5 islands formed through tectonic forces on the edge of the North American Pacific Plate boundary, while far west on the Pacific Plate is the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, which is on the Big Island of Hawaii, currently on top of the Hawaiian hotspot. A little further north is Haleakala National Park on the island of Maui. It's no longer over the Hawaiian hotspot due to the movement of the Pacific Plate. The last national park in the Pacific is the National Park of American Samoa, which includes parts of 3 of the islands of the U.S., also formed through hotspot volcanism. Since all 4 parks are connected to the Pacific Plate, all 4 parks have been moving with the Pacific Plate. The first park we will delve into is the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park.
Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is located on the Big Island of Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. The Hawaiian island chain was created due to the Pacific Plate moving over the Hawaii hotspot, a stationary plume of superheated material deep under the Earth's crust, as described by National Geographic in the article, A Chain of Islands, Hawaii Hotspot. Extreme heat melts the crust at the base of the lithosphere into magma, which continues to rise until an eruption occurs through cracks in the earth called fissures. According to research at Miami University published in 2016, the current Hawaiian Islands first emerged on the seafloor of the Pacific Ocean and rose above sea level after countless eruptions beginning 5 million years ago. Erupted magma solidified into new land, building the volcanoes that laid the foundation of Hawaii. The 2 most active volcanoes in the world can be found within Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Kilauea and Mauna Loa. Kilauea is the most active volcano on Earth, while Mauna Loa is the largest volcano on the planet, at 56,000 feet tall. Per the United States Geological Survey Volcano Watch, how high is Mauna Loa? The National Park Service monitors Kilauea's 2 rift zones radiating from the summit, the Southwest Rift and the more active East Rift. Kilauea and Mauna Loa erupt lava, which is basalt, a black, fine-grained, extrusive rock caused by the cooling of magma from the mantle. Basalt is the most common type of rock found within Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, and the oldest rocks studied by Miami University are less than 0.7 million years old. Flows enter the Pacific Ocean, where cooled lava continues to layer and create masses of new basaltic land. As the Pacific Plate moves northwest over the Hawaiian hotspot, the island of Hawaii is recorded by the National Geographic in the article A Chain of Islands, Hawaii Hotspot, as being carried away at a rate of about 7 centimeters per year. Eventually, volcanic activity will cease in Hawaii, like the older submerged islands no longer above the hotspot.
Haleakala National Park. Initially being a section of Hawaii's national park, Haleakala was established on August 1, 1916. This national park vibrates with stories of ancient and modern Hawaiian culture and protects the bond between the land and its people, per the Rare and Sacred Landscape article by the National Park Service. The large Pacific Plate in which the Hawaiian Islands formed drifted at an astounding rate of about 4 inches a year, moving northwest in 1974. With this type of plate movement, hotspots buried deep in the earth must burrow through the crust to form volcanoes like the many we see in Hawaii, according to the National Park Service's article about the park's geology. The volcano the park is built upon is as most volcanoes are in Hawaii, a shield volcano, whose lava is thicker and doesn't flow as easily, resulting in a composite of lava, rock, and ash. Looking at Haleakala from the viewpoint of Kaului, rift zones can be seen as long lines of stress fractures on the volcano's flanks where the eruptions can occur. The article Geology of Haleakala by the National Park Service emphasizes that the shield shape of Haleakala means that the only very top 5% is above sea level. Erosion chipped away at this park as it began to sink into the crust of the earth with its dense weight. With the loss of height, the volcano stands at a mighty 28,000 feet above the sea floor, making it the 3rd tallest mountain on Earth. As for the future, the moving and drifting of the plate mean that the park's volcano will be pulled away in a northwest direction, resulting in disconnection to the hotspot, also in reference to the National Park Service. Scholars from NPS state in the previously mentioned article, Haleakala is not extinct. It could erupt again. In fact, the last eruption, which occurred on the southwest flank along rift zone, was only 400 to 600 years ago. In the past 1,000 years, Haleakala has erupted at least 10 times. Currently, the volcano seems content to rest. Similar to Haleakala, the following national park also formed from hotspot volcanism.
National Park of American Samoa. The National Park of American Samoa was established on October 31st, 1988. It is the only U.S. national park south of the equator and spans part of 3 islands. Like those in Hawaii, these islands are formed through suboceanic hotspot volcanism. These islands are shield volcanoes largely made up of basalt and other igneous rocks. These volcanoes are being eroded and weathered as they are built. After a volcano moves off the hotspot, subsidence, meaning to sink or settle, steepens the shield. The 3 islands this park comprises are Tutuila, Ofu, and Ta'o. These are the younger islands of the Samoan chain and are part of the U.S. territories. Tutuila is in the middle of the chain and is elongated. The Wonders of the National Parks, a Geology of North America documentary, hosted by Fred Cochran, talks about how the island comprises 4 volcanoes dating back about 1.4 million years. The national park on the island resides just north of Pago Pago Harbor, the volcano's collapsed caldera, which largely resides in the national park. The harbor can be seen in this picture, figure 12, right here. The same documentary describes the park territory on the island of Ofu, includes coral reefs and coral sand beaches, which lay under an eroded shield volcano dotted with lava flows, ash tuff layers, and cinder cones. Ta'ua Island's territory in the national park is unique by having about 3/5 of its territory underwater to protect the coral reefs. An example of coral reefs can be seen in figure 11, right here. According to the previously stated documentary, the island comprises some of the steepest sea cliffs in the world that drop more than 3,000 feet to the Pacific Ocean due to enormous landslides. National Park of American Samoa Geographic Map. The National Park Service reveals that the park's total area is about 13,500 acres across the 3 islands, including the 4,000 acres that reside underwater. Figure 13 is the geologic map of the National Park of American Samoa created by the GRI team of the National Park Service. It shows the geologic breakdown of the island Tutuila, the main island of the 3 included in the national park. This neon green line right here shows the boundary of the national park on this island. For example, this line is the inferred boundary of the caldera formed from the shield volcano. Although the exact date of the volcanics here cannot be dated, the estimated time is between the Pleistocene and Pliocene epochs. These round green circles over here are cinder cones that are much more recent than the shield volcano. These cinder cones fall under the Leone volcanics, and the Pahoho flow is found in this darker green area here. The next national park is north of the equator and much closer to the North American continent.
The Channel Islands are 8 islands off the coast of Southern California. The 4 northernmost islands of Santa Rosa, San Miguel, Santa Cruz, and Anacapa are part of the Traverse Ranges geologic province. These 4 northernmost islands comprise the Channel Islands National Park, established in 1980. The 4 southernmost islands of San Nicolas, Santa Barbara, Santa Catalina, and San Clemente are part of the Peninsular Ranges province and are not included in the Channel Islands National Park. Santa Rosa Island and San Miguel Island were volcanic and erupted along with the Conejo volcanoes of the current Santa Monica Mountains roughly 19 to 15 million years ago. The islands of Santa Barbara and Anacapa are made entirely of volcanic rocks of the same age. Most other islands are made of sedimentary rock uplifted from the Farallon Plate, subducting beneath the East Pacific Rise, and came into contact with the North American Plate, causing sediment uplift in an alluvial plain, similar to the alluvial plain of the Santa Clara River and the Oxnard-Ventura area, formed by tectonic forces that caused them to rise out of the ocean 5 million years ago, and the deposition of them. The Channel Islands have always been islands separate from the mainland. During the Pliocene epoch, the Pacific Plate grabbed Baja California and started transporting it northwestward, ramming its northern end into Southern California. This compression caused the folding and faulting of the rocks and the uplift of the islands, as seen in Slide 8 from the National Park Service Geologic Transformations website. Approximately 30 million years ago, the western edge of the Farallon Plate approached the continental North American Plate subduction trench. Shortly after, roughly 27 to 18 million years ago, the East Pacific Rise divergent boundary was subducted and the Farallon Plate disappeared under the continent, and a new boundary formed when the Pacific Plate made contact with the North American Plate. The transverse mountains got caught in the shear between the plates roughly 20 million years ago, resulting in an uplift. Forces in the movement caused the transverse ranges to turn clockwise to their present position. Evidence of this rotation is found in the magnetism of the rocks found on the islands. Along with the amazing geologic history of the Channel Islands, it's also known that the Chumash tribe of native peoples inhabited the islands as early as 13,000 years ago, in which archaeologists discovered these human remains in 1959, as seen in slide 9 from the National Park Service Paleontology website.
We've reached the end of our trip around the Pacific, having traveled through Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, Haleakala National Park, the American Samoa National Park, and the Channel Islands National Park. These national parks were formed through the tectonic forces and volcanic eruptions and continue to change as Earth spins. Every park spoken about today is connected to the Pacific Plate and moves wherever it moves. It's important to remember the significance of the composition of such a vast landscape and to do our best to protect them for future generations to enjoy. Thank you.
This is our bibliography. The numbers in the square brackets coincide with the figure that has the same number.